Will you shift into the new earth? Do you know what that means? I'm going to explain, and I've got a lot of videos on this, but we're going to keep going because it's happening right now. This isn't just a video where we can just chit-chat, because stuff's happening out there. And every time I post this, there's something new that shows up. And right now we have to address this, because you can shift in no matter what your situation, no matter what you're feeling and thinking right now. And it starts with your awareness. Let's explore how to shift into that new earth and test your frequency and if your ego is still ruling you. Sometimes it's tough to tell. Let's go there and discuss this very important subject. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live an amazing life. Why do I keep shooting these videos? Because we came in from the most amazing, loving, compassionate, beautiful space of which we all come from. One thing. And we came here to experience the contrast of the one. We are that contrast. That's it. Neither good nor bad. I've said this 1,000 times. But we do, as human beings, have free will. It appears that we're individuals, but the truth is, we're just one thing, and so we're all connected. You are an aspect of me, and vice versa. But we know that we experience this as a seemingly individual human being. So we have to play that out, because what we do affects the collective consciousness, but we have our own energy field. It's not separate, but we do have an energy field that we get to explore that contributes to the one's experience of everything it can be. That's all it's doing. No judgment. I'm going to ask you a question right now. What do you think that new earth is? Everyone gets to choose where they place their attention, what they believe, and what their reality is. You get to do that right now. You can take any possible situation and turn it into anything you desire. And it starts with what you think and believe about it. You and I could be in the exact same situation. I'll give you an example. What if you had no money and you were absolutely broke and everything was taken away? Well, you could freak out and say life sucks and go into the dark night of the soul. Or you could be like Eckhart Tolle, who did go to the dark night of the soul and finally let go of that ego that made a story about the situation, that it was bad, or that it was something he should worry about or struggle with. And he let go. And when he did that, he went into an awakened state. He actually lived as a homeless person on a park bench for 2 years in total bliss. How's that possible? I want you to understand that is the new earth. Those who shift into that higher frequency are still on this planet, but they experience a completely different reality in a different dimension. Why? Because we now shift into something else that is totally different than the pathway we would have taken if we stressed out or believed what we saw out there. When you switch into that higher frequency, and what is the higher frequency? You're seeing things completely different, and that is individual choice. Still part of the collective, but it's still individual choice as part of the experience. And you get to choose that. Now here's what happens. As a seemingly individual person, you will carry this energy field and your individual experiences as part of the one forward. We don't want to do that, do we? No? If you don't desire to do that, and everything's a choice, neither good nor bad, right nor wrong, but if you desire to pull out of the density and the struggle and the worry and all these things, it's time to let go and go into a space of questioning nothing. Now, my friend who, and I want to address a few questions that you've had, my friend who said She desires to manifest peace and love. But there's there's no buts on my channel. But there's all these people over here and they're mandatory, masks, and they might do this and they might, blah, blah, blah. It's exhausting, isn't it? It's exhausting. Okay, so your reality, and so many of us do this. Your reality, in other words, to be okay, means that other people have to think differently than you. I had somebody leave something like this long of how the universe works, and that everything's not right, no good nor bad, right nor wrong, and then proceeded to tell me what was wrong with my, my sharing of what I believed. Comes to my channel and tells me, and didn't hear themselves actually having somebody else to believe what they are. And they just said that there's no right nor wrong, yet said that I was wrong about this and that people need to do this. We don't hear ourselves. So if somebody says you have to wear a mask, first of all, I've never known one person to die from wearing a mask. China's been doing it forever. And so have surgeons. In fact, if they don't wear masks, they spread germs to other people, right? We know this. Do you think surgeons pass out after 12 hours? I have a friend who does 12-hour surgeries and wears those masks. The mask is never the problem. It's standing on his feet for 12 hours that's the problem. I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to think about the big picture. Is that really a concern? Is that awakening? Give the man the shirt, the coat off your back, and then give him your shirt. In other words, the needs of the others supersede the need of the one. Because we are one. And what you do for others, you do for yourself. So I'm going to ask you this. If finding peace and love in a new earth means other people having to behave a certain way or believing what you do or thinking the way you do is required, then that's not the new earth. And by the way, that peace and love that you talk about in the new earth, well, you won't have to wear masks because nobody will be sick in that new earth. And as long as you're residing in that world and focused on that, you will create that lower density dimension. You'll exist in that reality. And you'll stay there because you have limitations and requirements for someone else in order for you to be satisfied. And that's the ego, right? That's the ego. So I want to bring this up because we're taking it to the next level of having to really listen to ourselves. Do you have a problem with anything? That's the ego. Do you have a problem with anything? That is the ego. Do you have a problem with anything out there? That's the ego, including anybody. And I know some of you say, yes, but then there's this going on. I said, hello, welcome to planet Earth. There's everything going on. It's not just that. It's everything. It's from the judgment that you start with. It's from the anger. It's from everything. It permeates everything. There's no level of right or wrong. Like it's okay to be jealous, but it's not okay to murder somebody. No, it's all a negative space, and it's all a reality and a focus that you're creating. I want to ask you right now: are you finding fault in anybody? That's judgment. That's a low frequency. Cannot exist in the fifth dimension. Doesn't exist. Is your spiritual beliefs? Does somebody else have to believe them? Because you can believe completely different things than I do and be 100% correct. Because that exists in your reality. You actually create that. And it's real. Now, I share my channel for people to come to. To figure out if this works for you or not. If I can help you, great. You don't have to believe a thing I say. Question everything. Because I don't give you the truth according to you. I give it according to me and what I believe exists. And if that helps you to get where you want to be, then that's a good thing. But is something going through your head right now that thinks that anything is a problem? Anything? then you're not accepting what we are. We are the experience of the one. We are the contrast that allows it to know what it is. Right? We can't possibly know how amazingly euphoric it is to be connected to the one unless we've experienced this darkness. And part of the evolution of everything that we do, everything revolves around and evolves into something new. It revolves around the birth of or transition of something, evolution of it, blossoming, and then going back down and recreating and recreating, and expansion and expansion. Hopefully learning more, going to higher levels, learning more, going to higher levels. That's it. At some point, we're in the lowest density here, obviously, and so we're in bodies, and so you're going to experience being human. So it's not like when you go to the fifth dimension, you won't get to experience being human. We'll be able to do a lot of amazing things. And it should be happening for you right now. But if you're arguing with anybody, it's really not important. Like something came up, somebody said, I can't remember what religion they referred to, said that Christ would never died on the cross, and somebody else said, Christ did die on the cross, and somebody said, does it really matter? Does it matter? We don't have those answers, so you can talk till the cows come home and never have those answers. Why do we need to do that? Why do we need to debate these things? We don't have the answers. I don't have the answers. But I know what we are. And I think you know what we are. And that's why we struggle so much. Because here, we're everything but we know we are. We're everything but that. But it doesn't stop us from going into what we are here as humans. You can transcend density by finding fault in nothing. Do you really have to lose sleep on whether they may or may not require vaccines? Let's look at the history of this planet and what we've been through. This is nothing compared to that. This is amazing. And all of you are looking at it like this is all bad stuff, and I don't see it that way. I see it all as a transition to something so amazing. People are saying, oh, you in the United States, with your racism. Oh, please. It's global. Don't you tell me that you don't have it in your country. It's in every corner of this planet on some level. The fact that it's coming to the forefront here is a positive thing, not a negative. What's the alternative? That we all stay in the closet and not talk about it? Or do we finally say this isn't okay? Violence is not okay. Racism is not okay. And then, of course, there's going to be groups of people that take that to a different level and create arguments within it. Can you be the peace? The peace does not have to state anything. And then I get the people with the money. You were okay until you sold one of your courses. Or maybe you'd like to write a $225,000 check for what it costs me to run those programs. I'm sorry, but that's a judgment and a limitation. Everyone can be abundant. Everyone can earn money doing what they love. Everything's a frequency. You can be abundant doing amazing, wonderful things, or you can be abundant doing nasty things. It's not the money or the abundance. It's the frequency, it's the intentions, it's the ego. And the first one is judging another person, especially about something you know absolutely nothing about. So if you are working and, changing people's lives, hallelujah. Then you are going to a higher frequency and using that abundance to help other people. Otherwise, what are you doing for a living? It's time to look at ourselves and ask what we're doing and stop looking at the others and judging the others and telling them what to do. These are all your choices. You get to choose. Nothing you do can possibly be wrong because you're always getting exactly what you need. So if you're going through some kind of crisis, That's what you need in order at this moment to work through whatever it is that's stressing you out, limiting you, telling you can't be certain things, or whatever it is that you want and desire to learn as a human being. To understand we really don't have limitations. And understand that fear is just a state of mind. It's a choice. And understand that stress and struggle is a story in your head. What's the common denominator? It's all coming from you, not me. It's not the person who did a certain thing to you or said a certain thing to you, or the president, or the virus. It's none of these things. It's what you believe about it. I think there's a cleansing going on here in a positive way, and I don't think that bad people are going away. I think the cleansing is the cleansing of the institutions in place that don't work for us. In other words, so we're going into this space where people are going to leave the planet. They're choosing to do it under certain circumstances to help our planet go to this next level. So it's serving a very positive purpose. So if somebody decides, there's a whole group of people that are deciding to leave right now so that we can transcend. And I'm going to do a whole video on that. But this one's about, are you finding a fault with anybody? Do you have a problem with anybody? Anyone? That's the ego. You have to be the way I think you should to get my approval. I loved you until, oh, well, you think that or you did that. Now you're on my crap list. No, it's your ego. That's your ego. Believing that the world needs to be the way you think it should, and respecting no one's decisions to believe what they choose, even if it's wrong according to you. 100% ego. Can we recognize it? And those of you who are going into the spiritual thing and then saying, you need to believe this and you should that and you're wrong, that's the ego. You don't have to believe anything. Pick and choose what works for you. The whole video about channeling, you guys got it. You don't have to go to somebody else to find out what to do with your life. There are amazing teachers out there, and some of these channels do have amazing messages. But the bottom line is, we are now going into a phase, an era on this planet where we have to take that control and that power ourselves and stop looking to other people and other things to make those decisions for us. Use them as tools, use them as guides, and you make the decision. No one else can do that for you. You hold that power. You alone decide how things work, what's best for you, and it doesn't have to be what somebody else believes in things. And they are equally as right. Can you understand that? If you can, you will go into a peaceful place. Somebody wants to wear masks, they're right. You don't want to wear a mask? You're right. Relationships require compromise. We're human beings. So do you go in a relationship and everything's your way or the highway? That's not going to work. Same thing goes here. There are a lot of things that we need to do. You might say, hey, I should be able to go out in the park and walk around nude. Well, they do it in Sweden. Well, we're not in Sweden here in the United States. It's not allowed. So you have to put your pants on. Right? We have certain rules and regulations according to certain communities. It's okay. It's okay. You can abide by them and not lose your freedom. We are on planet Earth. You never lose your freedom. You never do. You physically could be in jail and never lose your freedom. That's called awakening. Can you sort those two out and understand that nothing physical is a limitation? It can't possibly be, because that's not who you are. And you're not giving up anything because it has no real meaning. By the way, whatever you create in your head and focus on, you manifest. Come on over and take Conscious Manifesting Workshop. If you've taken any of my courses, it's going to be super good for you. We're going to sit and actually talk and work through all these things. What are you thinking? What are you believing? Why are you believing it? What can you do every single day to start to focus in what you desire to manifest. How does it work? Are you catching all those thoughts? What's judgment? Are you going into this space where things have to be a certain way for you to be happy? That is total ego and judgment. If you aren't happy at all about anything right now, at all, you are now operating under the ego's control. Because the ego is what wants something or somebody or your life or the world to be a certain way. It's always dictating what it personally needs. Total ego. Do an ego check. Come on over and take Conscious Manifesting. It is unlimited for 1 year. And also, Shift into the New Earth is a 3-hour masterclass. Both of those are down in the description or on landriaonkka.com. You guys have discount codes you can use. As usual, this is my free workshop. What is that? I have people coming over and learning how to use the internet that are creating amazing businesses. Amazing businesses. We have, I'll interview her. I interviewed her already. 19-year-old who launched her own sustainable clothing business by taking the training and learning how to create an online business to do it. Amazing people are going after their dreams. If you want to tell yourself it's something else, keep it to yourself. That's your opinion. Other people are finding it amazing. If you don't like it, then don't do it. If you have to impose your opinion on somebody else, ask yourself why. Why you can't respect their path and their decisions and their beliefs. That's judgment. That's the lowest frequency. Okay? Can we pull out of that? I should have brought Hacker Tea out. I know you guys like Hacker Tea. I'll bring him out next time. And we're going to talk about all of these things that are happening out there with the virus, because I think it's really important for you to have different perspectives, so maybe you can shift into a non-fearful based way of thinking about what it is and what it represents to us. Just something for you to take in so you can decide. You are whole and perfect, strong, powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. Subscribe. I send you blessings because we're all in this together. And it's all about getting along. It's all about getting along. Oppose nothing. There's nothing to oppose. We are everything. You and I are just different aspects of contrast and experience of one beautiful energy. Experimenting, seeing what it can be. Go do. But do it and have fun. Have fun while you're here. Despite all of this, it's still amazing. There are amazing moments to be found in all of this. I love you. You're unconditionally loved. You were never alone. We're one. Everything you see is you. Blessings, my friend. Namaste.